Hello to everyone interested in the conservation of our precious wildlife and the essential wildlife habitats throughout the world. By definition, this includes all of us here at Dallas Safari Club. I'm Corey Mason, the Executive Director of DSC. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recently issued a permit to an American hunter conservationist, allowing him to import a black rhino trophy. This is from a hunt that was rigorously and scientifically regulated by the Namibian government. The Humane Society of the United States and other radical animal rights organizations oppose hunting for the sake of opposing hunting. Their policies will, if allowed to prevail, have terrible consequences on the very species they claim to protect. They oppose the issuance of this permit for the sole reason of punishing the hunter. Here are a few facts you will never be told by the media or organizations like HSUS. The particular rhino the Namibian government allowed to be hunted had gored to death many members of his own species in the months preceding the hunt. This is natural for post-reproductive black rhinos. It's what they're programmed to do. They kill young females who would have raised many young rhinos over the decades if they'd been allowed to live. They kill young males who would have helped to strengthen the genetic diversity during their long lives, if allowed to live. These indiscriminate killings of the young, contributing members of this species are simply unsustainable. When this hunt ended in success, no beings anywhere were more relieved than the remaining black rhinos inhabiting the same land. They would no longer be targeted for death by one of their own. The radical activists would suggest that the hunted rhino should have been moved into an isolated area to live happily ever after. This is not nature's way. The rhino would have died. Most likely, it would have met a cruel end by starvation, disease, or predation. This sort of natural death would have done nothing to help the species. It would have been meaningless. Conversely, the monies generated by this hunt went directly towards paying for rhino management and the extraordinarily expensive protection required for the most relentlessly poached species on the planet. You see, to protect black rhinos, anti-poaching patrols must never stand down. They operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The expense is overwhelming. Fees paid by hunters almost exclusively fund these efforts. Without them, the patrols would languish and the rhino species would perish. The fees from licensed hunt also act as an essential incentive for landowners to maintain land in its essential state as required by the wildlife that have inhabited it for millennia. Revenues from photo safaris in the few geographical areas where they make sense just don't generate the income required. Hunters are motivated by the words and deeds of conservation leaders like Teddy Roosevelt. They choose to walk the walk when it comes up to sweat equity, put into habitat projects, or hard-earned money they pay to pursue their passion. This hunter paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for this opportunity in an auction conducted by us here at DSC. This was the second auction of its kind, and we are honored to help play a critical role in the heroic effort to save the black rhino. Hunters will continue to do the real work on the ground to help conserve countless species and their habitats. This should be celebrated, not ridiculed and punished. Wildlife everywhere need many more to materialize for generations to come. On behalf of DSC and hunter conservationists everywhere, thank you for listening. The truth is sometimes drowned out by biased media and emotion, but it is our aim to see it prevail.